we're here, we're watching, the eyes in the sky are watching, baby.
So you feel we should have visible police?
Oh yeah, I mean, not a lot of it, because enough of it. Don't make it look like like, oh my God, are they gonna gas bomb us and fire, tear gas us if something crazy happens? But just make us give it that mid level,
Okay, the safety level.
Yeah, a protection. Yeah.
Okay, now, as you know, in the last few years, we've had a lot of bashing online, from not just online in general, from the trans. We had a real spike in regard. I know there's a lot of shootings and all these things happening in the US now, but around the world, we had a real spike in trans murders. Now, I've talked to quite a few of the heavyweight girls that are in the business for a long time, and we all understand escorting, and we all understand that a girl's got to do what she's got to do. And we're not saying that every trans woman is an escort. We're not saying any of this. Regardless, it's just women in general, or women who identify as women, and trans women who consider themselves women, and just people in general who feel that they should be able to do what they want with their bodies. Right. Now, lots of these trans women have been murdered. We see some advocacy towards this. What do you think needs to be done to make the queens and the women, real women as well, just to make the business of escorting safer? I see in New York that they passed a law now in New York City to where they, trying to help the trans women who escort, or like they say in some cities, prostitution, which I think they've been locking up these women for too long.
Yeah.
About, trying to control them and what they do with their bodies. And it's a good step that the judge in New York City made some effort, or the governor made some effort to decriminalize this. In a sense, I think will make it safer for the girls, whether they're real women or trans women, or trans women who identify as women.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these girls, number one, they should always, first and foremost, always be careful what you're doing, where you're going, how you're doing it, and it's okay. When I was in Tennessee for a while, a lot of those girls, there were a couple of girls that were killed, leave with dates, and they wouldn't tell them. You should always tell somebody who you're with. It's okay if your friend takes the license plate of a car that you're getting into, because it's not that you're snooping. It's not that you want to know their business. You need to know that you're going from point A to point B and back. And if something happens to you, they want to know the last thing that they saw.
Yeah, that makes sense. The same. I always said this, regardless, before, back in the days when I was doing shows and hanging out with all the girls, I've always said they should have decriminalized prostitution and escorting from the get-go, because I always thought that it would have made it safer for the girls. Now that we seem to have so much media now with us being in the mainstream, and not just with Pose, with Billy Porter.
Yeah, that's a really good.
And putting himself right on the line, and yet still trying to balance out his own identity as the pronoun, or what he wants to be and what he's doing. And then we have Tyler Perry, who's now hiring lots of trans people and different minorities to show diversity and inclusiveness. And then, of course, we have RuPaul's Drag Race that's trying to show the young children, to have fun and dress up and just be themselves.
Right.
Where do you think we should go from here, now that we have the world's attention?
Well, I think Pose, I love Pose. Everybody loves Pose. That was a great representation of how it was. I think it's and how it still is kind of. It's not that far in the past, but that was a great start to show the people who've never seen that world what it is, what those girls go through. It's not
Mhm.
just all glitter and glam and glitz and fabulous parties. And these girls have to find a place to live. They have to make an ends meet. They have to pay their bills.
Mhm.
That's how it was. And I think that a lot of these girls, I feel sad that we've lost so many. There was that wave. You're right. They were just dying left and right. And I thought, what is going on? I thought, every time I turn around, the Continental girls were a victim of that for a while too. I was
Mhm.
upset about that because I worked with a lot of those girls, and I think it's okay to put it, decriminalize it, like you said, and these girls need to work on protecting themselves more and get help from write the important people that make these laws and change that can change them. Because you're not going to see change unless you do something. Let's just speak up.
Mhm.
Don't
Yeah,
bitch about voting if you didn't vote.
that's right. I say that all the time. Don't bitch about voting if you didn't vote. Now, another thing that seems to be in the news now, it to me, I I understand her anger towards maybe something that she's experienced, and I'll get into that after I ask you this question. As you know, J.K. Rowling is the author of the Harry Potter series. Now, of
Mm-hmm.
course, she's been on all over TV, all over national networks, talking about her disdain for trans women and the fact that trans women aren't women. And she has been very vocal about that sort of her opinion on this. What do you think? Do you think do you think she's right, or do you think she is is meddling where what do you think she's right, and why do you think she has such a hatred for trans women?
Well, I mean, I think right away, obviously, what that says to me is she must have had some kind of weird experience, or maybe one of her own family members, something, one of her children,
Mhm.
one of her uncle, anybody, because if she's that hardcore about it, saying, no, 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 I hated it, then something must have happened in her own life where she's like just disgusted, got a weird, bad version of that and said, "Oh my God," and freaked out. And now that's coming forth, and she's like, "Oh," and she's no, I don't like it, and she won't, because people are afraid of what they don't know. That's the thing about
Mhm.
that. People are afraid of what they don't know, and so I think she needs to stay. Well, obviously, she needs to stay in her little world of fantasy and magic, and because that has nothing to do with that's two way opposite worlds.
Mhm.
And she needs to start looking at a lot of these other movies, so many different movies, because there's every now and then you'll see trans girls popping in and out of these movies in big roles that are making
Mhm.
big bucks, and it's she needs to look at it and go, oh well, okay, maybe maybe there's a spot for this, you know.
Well, I look at it as this is when you have such an influence like that, and you have such power like that, you should be using your voice for good. And like you said, I think she had some experience, whether it was a boyfriend or a husband or somebody who went out with a trans woman and she found out
Yeah,
about,
and then she hit
something like
the
that.
fan.
Yeah, she has a real hate on for it. I'm sure it'll come out in the papers
Well,
somewhere down the
and what
road.
a bad person! What a if she was a nobody, it would get fly. But look at who she is. That doesn't she realize
Mhm.
that could just grab a hold of her book sales and all this other stuff, and because nobody's gonna want to buy books from a homophobic person.
No. Now, so let's talk about how was the block party? How was that?
Oh my God, it was so crazy. I mean, I think my eyelashes melted off. Like that,
Okay.
it was so hot and crazy, and I think I changed clothes like 5 6 times, and thank God a friend of mine had a big a van, like an RV kind of thing, and all these queens kept running. They said, "Where'd you go?" And they'd see me go in one way and come out the other in a whole other outfit.
But at least it's good that the lockdown now is kind of subsiding a little bit, and we're all sort of on the same page as getting vaccinated or trying to think about getting vaccinated. and make things safer for us all. And it's good to see that you're out and about in the community, and there is some resources to sort of make you feel like you're part of the community again. Things are
Yeah.
happening, going back to real life, and maybe we've all learned a very valuable lesson from this, that we need each other. Because being in my apartment alone all those months,
Yeah.
and no shows, and I can think about people, even if you had a big family, you'd be tired of your big family after
Well,
about
because when they started using
15
them,
minutes.
I have to say I'm not just in the CDC at all. They're the government, but when they started using the words lockdown and quarantine, I thought, honey, you have no clue what that word is. Because if that was a true lockdown, you would be able to go nowhere for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So don't start saying lockdown, quarantine, girl. That's not quarantine. That's not lockdown. You have no. uh-uh.
It's great though that at the end of the day, hopefully we've learned a lesson from all of this, that we need each other.
Right. I
And
mean,
that
I'm glad that we've gotten way over the hump of it and gotten to this point. Because when it first started, everybody was scared to touch things and sit on things. And what do we wipe? What do we do? Well, should we wrap ourselves in bubble wrap? What do we do? I mean,
but I say this also, Jessica, it's a good thing that we all now are getting a little taste of what Black people and marginalized people have felt for so long: racism. We're all getting a little bit of taste of that. Don't touch me. Get away from me. I don't like you. Move away. All
Yeah,
these.
I mean, I can't believe that our society was so that maybe some people didn't want to believe it existed, or it doesn't affect me, so I'm fine. Well, it does affect you somewhere, somehow. Just like the HIV/AIDS epidemic, when that came around. I don't know anybody, but you do know somebody with AIDS. See, that's how that works.
Yeah. It's funny. Just for an example, when I see people walking down the street, even couples, and I cross the street, it affects them. And I know it affects them. And not that I'm even doing it at close range. I'm doing it at a distance, but I can hear them talking.
Yeah.
And I know they're saying something about whether, he doesn't, this and that, or whatever the thought is in their mind. But in general, when you look at it, it's putting us all on the same page in a sense of, you see, you've been treating these people, it says this meeting no longer has a time limit.
I mean, I just think that, when all this stuff, I'm so glad that, the George Floyd thing, and, that was, all that stuff. I'm so glad that worked out the way it did. And, the police officer that, I mean, I wish people had seen when I'm sorry, I was rolling in pieces when they were sentencing him up the river, because the mask is here and his eyes were darting everywhere. He was like,
oh.
he was like, oh. I was like, yes, honey, you're going to jail. Bye. Yeah, sorry about your luck.
So we're gonna thank you so much for doing the show today. You have a great, wonderful, and blessed Pride. We're gonna let Chad.
I don't know what kind of stores you have there, but you need to go out and buy this lip gloss, girl. Iridescent lip gloss. Woo-hoo.
I didn't put any on today because she keeps telling me to try to, normalize it. So this way you can send me the link to what that lip gloss is. Chadwick, are you there?
Yes,
like
I
LA
am.
Colors. It's like LA Colors. No, Chadwick, you can't have this. This is fabulous lip gloss. Yeah.
Oh. I don't think Chadwick wears lip gloss.
Well, what the thing is I love it. Every now and then